Let's get right into it. Here we are. It is episode 618 of the Soul Not For Sale podcast. And what we have today is Joe Rogan and Alex Berenson. It's like Berenstein Bears, but Baron son. This gentleman's a journalist, which is always a fun episode because I love when journalists get on the show. They pull the journalistic views out of Joe. You know, they're trying to have a conversation, but they're also trying to kind of get quotes and lengthy views out of Joe. I always like that. You know, I love to hear him talk about bears wrestling werewolves and stuff like that. I love that stuff too, but I like to hear about his views, the political stuff. And this one, they kind of get into the nature of human beings, and then it morphs into a conversation about how the oldest of our tribe sometimes refuse to let go of power. And you know, I just said the oldest of our tribe, but I'm sure right away something comes to mind. And for me, it's obviously, and for them as well, the government. People far too old, you know, I don't want to say incompetent, because at some point they were, but can no longer perform the duties that they were once performing so well. And, you know, the main culprit of this is Joe Biden, but there's some others in the Senate currently that have been, it's Mitch McConnell. There's another lady as well. She's in a wheelchair, you know, sweet old lady. They just seem like they shouldn't be in the House anymore, you know, not because I dislike them or anything. It just doesn't make sense anymore. And sometimes you have to wonder, why aren't they letting go of the power that they have? I have a theory about that, and it kind of goes in line with the deep state a little bit, because, you know, that's where I tend to go with things sometimes. But let's let Joe and Alex talk about it further. Before I do that, of course, you know I have to bring you to the store. This is IamCoachColin.com, and this is the certified pure blood shirt for those of you who survived the pandemic unscathed, untainted. Good job. Unwavering, keep it up, do not give in, resist at all costs. Okay? I'm just saying. I don't usually get into it like that, but resist. You got to resist. And we have the Public Enemy #1 shirt. Google the World Economic Forum. Google Agenda 2030. Google the Bilderberg Group. Google the World Economic Forum founder. Google his connection to the Bilderberg Group. Understand as quick as you can why this gentleman is public enemy #1. And also we have the bold statement here, and I'm not making up what I just said. That's true. There is a connection there. We've talked about it before. And the bold statement right here, Soul Not For Sale, right there. You can get it as a t-shirt, but some of you're coming up to a time where you got to get one of these. You got to get a hoodie because it's getting cold out there. All of that's available at Coach Colin. I am CoachColin.com. And if you want 10% off of anything you just saw, all you have to do is put in the discount code I am Coach Colin, all capital letters, all one word, no spaces, one L in the name Colin. That gets you 10% off. No questions asked. All right. Now, no spaces. I'm getting emails from people. They're saying I didn't get the discount. No spaces, capital letters, please. But we'll help you out. Don't worry. Let's get into this first clip right here. Rogan Extraordinaire.
You know,
oh, no, they do.
But isn't it interesting? Like, it's part of the pushback of all of this stuff from people that have no stake in the game other than they're a human being, is that you're saying something that shatters their narrative. They have a narrative that they've established about what's good in the world, what's the right thing to do, and the direction we have to go, and these people are looking out for us, and these people are Nazis. And when you have that, and something comes along and says, hey, there might be something afoot here, you should pay attention. Like, there's some data you should look at. We have a long history of people lying about all kinds of things, you know, whether it's the Opium War, fucking everything throughout human history. But for whatever it is, like, now we don't, hey, this conspiracy theorist.
That's right.
Oh, this guy, who's this wacky guy with his fringe ideas. He's an alt-right hero. And like, oh, okay. I get it. I wish the world was perfect too. I really do. I wish there was a guy in the White House that was this amazing human being and a shining example of what's possible from just a person, a loving person who wants to take care of a nation because they really believe in them. But this is like,
You've got me laughing. It's such
but
bullshit.
it's what we want,
It's what
and
we
we
want.
never get it. We never get it. It's like fucking. It's Charlie Brown and Lucy. That football just gets yanked away every time, and we're like, shit. Shit, I thought this was going to be the adults were in the room. Shit, you know?
Well, look, I mean, beware the person who tells you what to do because they know what's best for you.
Yeah. That's a normal thing of human nature, too. It's a weird thing about human nature. We're always led by someone. It's very strange because it seems to be a part of just our programming that we've kept since we were primates in, like, the jungles. Like, there was always a leader. Like, if you ever watched that Chimp Nation show? Amazing show on Netflix. These scientists were embedded in this chimpanzee group for 30 years. And so the chimpanzees had become totally comfortable with human beings as long as they were 20 yards away.
Right.
So they never moved any closer than 20 yards. The chimp moves close to them, they back away. You never have food. There's a bunch of rules about what to do and what not to do. But if you follow those rules, these chimps behave as if they're just chimps in the jungle. So it's this incredible opportunity to watch their social hierarchies. And it's just like people. There's a leader. There's always a leader. There's always a leader.
There's always someone
and there's
in
the young
charge.
people that are challenging the leader, and the leader has to beat them down. And it gets to a certain point in time where the leader can't do that anymore. And he has to relinquish. And it's all about the relationships they develop while they're leaders. And those are the ones that can go on the longest. That's the same thing with human beings. It's like, God damn it, it's literally our programming. And we've surpassed it in our ability to communicate, in our ability to understand the variables and the amount of variables, but we still
we're all just a
operate
bunch
on
of
this
chimps.
chimp hierarchy. It's really crazy because if you watch that Chimp Empire show and you think of us, like you can go, oh my God, this is what our problem is. We always want to have a leader. We always want to run things. We always want to tell other people. We get power out of telling other people what to do. Some people just get their jollies. Like, you know that if you have a bad boss and the boss like yells at all the people in the warehouse, like, fuck.
Just wants to humiliate and be in charge.
Yes, they want to beat their chest and run through the fucking trees and shake them.
It does sometimes feel like anybody who wants power should not be allowed to have it.
Yeah, right? Like, and the only people who should be president are people who don't want that job. You know, it's like John Dutton in Yellowstone when he has to become governor. You know, it's like, it's really like fucking, it's kind of similar.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But meanwhile, the old chimps now will not leave the stage.
Bro, not just all of them. All of them. These people are hanging in. It's amazing. With like hormone replacement and Adderall and whatever else they have to take. These folks can keep going deep into their 80s. Except that Mitch McConnell guy.
No, he's
having some real ones.
He's just gonna fall over.
He's having some real moments. Like that, if that in any other job. Like imagine if you're a train conductor and you just freeze up. Charlie, the crossroads is coming. Charlie. And Charlie's just locked up like Windows 98. Like
That's right. Blue screen of that,
bro.
Right.
You got Control Alt Delete Charlie
my
before
God.
this fucking train crashes. But you.
All right, let me give you a little context there real quick, just so you know exactly who he's talking about and what he means by this train conductor who just freezes up. So this is actually Mitch McConnell, if you don't know, and he's going to be asked a question. This is the second time that he's frozen up like this.
About what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Imagine just acting like that didn't happen. Who are those deep state? This is what I mean when I say I get like deep state about. Like, who are these people that we don't know their names and they just come around them like, you hear the question? Who are you? Who are you? I swear if that was my dad, I'd be like, listen, you're done. You're done. I'm not helping you. We're not doing it. You're coming. You're just going to hang out with the grandkids. That's what you're doing from now on. Okay? We're going to put you in a woodworking class. You okay with that? All right, Dad? Crazy. Here's the first time he froze up. Crazy.
It's been good bipartisan cooperation. and a string of
Okay, Mitch? Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press?
Bro, he didn't even answer. You want to go back to your office? He didn't even answer. He just walked away. Like, are you kidding me? Re-election 2026? Listen, I'm not putting anything on anybody. But in this, I'm not going to say in life, in this position, he's not making it to 2026. That's not what's happening. This guy's going to be done within 6 months. Has to be. And if he comes back with more energy and he's just like, hey, what's going on, guys? That's a clone. I don't care what anybody says. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. That's a clone. If he comes back skipping, he's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? That's a clone. That's it. Sorry. And now there's another lady, Feinstein, perhaps. And this is a very interesting little tidbit. Let's bring it right to the clip where it starts. Let's go. Okay, we're already there. Let's go.
It funds priorities submitted. Yeah, just say aye. Okay, just aye. Thank you.
Do you know how crazy that is? Like, I know it was fun and she giggled and everybody laughed, but some lady just turned to her and said, just say aye. Like, she just told her what to do. She doesn't even know what's going on. She's reading the thing. This woman's like, just say aye. She pretty much told her what her position was. That's a senator. That shouldn't be happening. That's what I mean by who are these people that are around them with no names that we don't know, that weren't elected? You know, somebody picked her as senator at some point. They didn't pick the lady beside her. You know what I mean? It's very interesting to see, like, who's making the decisions there. A senator is supposed to make the decisions. So who's that lady that just told her, just say aye? And who is that lady speaking to? And who influences her? It's crazy. It's just crazy. But just so you know, that's who he's talking about. That's who they're talking about when they're talking about these people who are too old. And I could play a clip or two of Nancy Pelosi as well, where her brain resets when she's in the middle of a conversation. And I could play any random clip of Biden as well, where his brain glitches, resets, flips over, and reverses. All sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, he just told a crowd of people the other day, Biden, that he was going to bed. He's trying to wrap something up, and he's like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to bed. I'm like, what? What did you just do? You just said you're going to bed? Go to Maui. What are you talking about? Going to bed. But again, exactly to what they're saying. The people who are too old. We always need a leader, even to our detriment, right? Because the people need these leaders. Kind of. In theory, people need these leaders. And the fact that we need them so much that they can get into this state and we're still allowing them to be leaders, even when there's people behind them that we don't know and didn't elect, leading them, influencing them, controlling them, it becomes such a big problem. But again, I just wanted to give you a little context. Let's go back to Joe Rogan. Let him finish off his clip. There's still a few minutes in this one. Let's get it.
You can do it if, you're a high-ranking politician in the greatest country the world's ever known. It's very strange. Very strange. Like Dianne Feinstein doesn't want to relinquish her throne. But what I understand is it's also all the people that work for her too, and they all have like a whole system. It's probably not even her that's getting things done. It's a giant staff.
That's right.
And if she stays in office, then the giant staff keeps doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a giant staff, but a competent staff.
Yeah.
It's not about
their jobs depend on her. It's
Right.
as much as Hollywood, right? Like your job depends on your relationship with the big guy, big woman.
right. Well, that lady's not making the big decisions at this point.
Nope.
At this stage. That's when she started.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
She's kind of pretty.
She was hot.
Yeah.
The thing is, man, when you get that job is like any other job. If that's what you do, if you play football, you're used to colliding with people and scrambling for the ball. That's what you do. What they do is govern.
That's
like, why you gonna tell me? Like, why you gonna tell Mick Jagger he can't tour anymore?
That's right.
Come on, man. He looks awesome out there. What are you gonna do? They're fucking politicians. What do we expect? that should be like fucking. There should be some sort of a cognitive test or something at some point in time. It should be like, look, we really need. Can we give you another job? Like,
That's right.
like a
Well, look,
second
you have
job?
to be 35 to be president. Why shouldn't there be a top limit? Why shouldn't it be 80 or something? I mean, it's some reasonable number.
Why don't we move like the elder statesmen into a different bracket and like advisors, have them be advisors to discuss policy in their year? Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
If like the senators could go and meet with the advisors who are still around. Well, back in the 2000s, there was an issue with 4G. You know, like there's, you know, I mean, there's got to be a way to do it where you have like more vibrant people representing whatever they're representing.
Yes.
But it's also, they don't want to relinquish power. And they've got a really good grip on it now. I mean, it's really, if you want to run a country like within the rules and kind of dominate it, they've done an amazing job. Because they've done it all within the rules. It's like, it's pretty clever.
Yes.
It's like when Donald Trump was talking about not paying taxes.
Yes.
You know, it's like, yeah, you guys set it up like that, so I don't have to pay taxes.
I'm going to take advantage of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, it makes sense.
Well, I mean,
Man, there should be some kind of age limit. But here's the thing. Here's the thing when it comes to the age limit. I agree with that. But also, then there's Trump. And I look at Trump and I'm like, no, he's fine. He's fine. And here's the thing. Right? Because it's like, oh, Trump's almost as old as Biden, blah, blah, blah. But there's levels to this getting old thing, you know? There's levels to it. If you could take Biden, if Biden could step out of politics and run a multi-million-dollar business, I'd be like, fine. That's fine then. He can run the world. Of course. He made himself a billionaire. He could do all that. Fine. But he can't. Trump can. Trump will just step into a bunch of deals, real estate and otherwise, and make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars every month. Forget every year. You thought I was going to say every year. Every month. Easy. Because he knows how to delegate. He knows how to surround himself with the right people. He knows how to run a business. So now you bring that over to politics. It works. It tends to work, you know? But you take Biden. You bring him over the business world and you say, run this. It's going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart. And that's the thing. You can kind of see that exactly what I'm saying. You can see it with the country. He got in a position where he could run the country and it's kind of falling apart. It's still incredible, but that's the thing. You have this super incredible country, so it's a little tough to say it's falling apart when somebody's doing a bad job. But it's getting really bad. You know, the working class and lower than that, these people can feel it. That's why there's so many people in the urban community that are switching over to Trump, because they're like, I can feel it. I can see the price of things going up. I can see my money not stretching the way it used to. I can see it. When you're higher up, you're making six figures, you're making $500,000 a year, you can't really feel it. Someone tells you eggs went up, you're like, oh, did it? I didn't know. Because you're just buying whatever you got to buy. Oh, the car's more to fill up? I don't know. I don't even remember how much it used to be. So I don't remember how much it is now, because you're good. But the people who need things to stay the same, they need things to be at a certain price range because they're budgeting so hard for it. They feel it. They really feel it. So, you know, age, definitely. Cognitive test. I think that's where Joe hit the nail on the head. A cognitive test would be perfect. They sit down and they talk to you about some things. That's all it would take. You sit down with that Feinstein lady, the one who's like, just say I, and she just said I. You sit down with her and you say, you just break down some things. Hey, this is what you're going to be doing. Do you remember doing this? Do you remember doing that? You know what day it is? All those questions. She wouldn't be able to answer them. She wouldn't pass. For sure not. Mitch McConnell, you ask him a few questions. He would have frozen up. You'd be like, okay, this guy can't do it, because you can't just freeze up like that when you're a senator. You can't have that. Can't be in front of a bunch of reporters and then you just freeze. Can't do that. So you can't be in a position. And then you go over to Biden. You talk to Biden. You say, hey, what's going on? Tell me about your foreign policy and what you plan to do in the next 3 weeks. Tell me your itinerary as like a memory test. And he'd fail. And that'd be it. He'd be like, oh, everybody knows what he would do, right? I don't want to make fun of the guy, you know? And then it's weird because if he did that same test with Kamala Harris, she would fail too. Isn't that weird? I don't know how old she is. I feel like she's not 80, but she'd fail too. You'd be like, okay, Miss Harris, tell me about what you plan to do in the next 6 months as vice president. She'd be like, well, as vice president, I tend to do the vice president things because the vice and the president, they come together and I make them stick like glue. Because my mother always said a president isn't a president unless there's a vice next to it. And they'd be like, okay, you fail. You have to leave as well, ma'am. Unexpected. This is unexpected, but you have to leave as well, man. Oh, joking, of course. Not really, but kind of. If you haven't liked the video already, like the video. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell because it's hard to keep up when you're making 1 to 3 videos a day. And other than that, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about what they're saying, about always needing a leader, about always needing this person to lead everybody. And it's kind of true that is what's needed for people. But is there a place where it's not needed? Because I even know now, as I'm coming into, manhood more so, I've been married a short time, family, you start to realize like, I have to lead this family. Like there's just a void. It's like as if there's no leader, there's like a void, and someone will fill it. So you have to make sure it's the right person. So for my family, I have to lead. It's just there's no way around it. My wife feels the same way. She doesn't want to be the leader. She wants me to lead. It's interesting. And then in your community, there's these leaders. But as you keep going up the hierarchy of things, right? We're talking about family, then it builds into community, then it builds into state or province, then it builds. As you go up more and more, there's more of a detach from the people to the leaders, And that's why Trump is so interesting, because he's connected right down to the bottom rung, up and less connected to people wanting to lead him at the top. Like the people who are around him that are politicians, they don't really want him as a leader, Well, at least like the Democrats, there's probably a few Republicans as well, because he didn't go up the ranks as a politician, so they don't want him as a leader. And then when you go a little lower, it's like more people want him and more people. And then when you get to the actual people, millions upon millions of people want him. I don't understand how Biden won the election. I'm going to be honest. I don't understand. I don't get it. But that's for another episode. Or maybe not. I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about that? I have no idea. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But either way, like I said, like it if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't. Other than that, I am out.